It's been quite a ride the last few years. I'm Ben Rising, your host, and welcome to Season 10 of Whitetail Edge.
Wow, these are the days. Just like crazy does you live for these days, man. It's unbelievable. I just shot the biggest deer of my life.
I'll tell you, it's just humbling to be sitting behind a 5.5-year-old whitetail like this.
Whitetail Edge is brought to you by Prime Archery, Black Widow Deer Lures, Illusion Hunting Systems, Muddy Outdoors, Mossy Oak, and Novix Tree Stands.
We're going to kick it off this year in Missouri, but my hunt this year started off actually in Illinois, and I live in Ohio, but I didn't start in Ohio this year because I really didn't have a target buck in Ohio. Just me, I like to hunt particular bigger deer, older class, 6-year-old, 5-6-year-old deer if I can. That's just my challenge. That's what I like to do. But I didn't have that kind of a deer in Ohio this year. So I kept waiting on something to show up in some other states of places that I could hunt. And finally I had a really good deer that I had some velvet pictures of in Illinois. And he started to make some moves in daylight a little bit. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to give this deer a shot early October. I had gotten plenty of daylight pictures of this deer coming out of a standing cornfield onto a hardwood ridge. So I went to Illinois, got a stand put in there where I needed it to be.
He's been working out of this corn to an acorn flat. Typically, he's been moving more in the mornings, believe it or not, coming off the acorn flat back in to the corn.
I hunted this deer 3 times and I never saw this buck, and I was really disappointed. But the one night, one evening, I got out of the stand.
This deer I'm hunting is probably a 170s deer, and he's right here. I know he is.
He walked right under my stand 20-25 minutes after I got out of the tree. I mean, literally by the time I got back to the truck, he had walked through. So I hadn't boogered the deer. He just wasn't moving. I don't know if he knew I was in there. I'm not positive what the deal was. But then I figured out somebody else was hunting pretty close to the property line where I was hunting this deer. And then all of a sudden this deer just fell off the map. And I never saw the deer again. Never got more pictures of him. So I don't know if he died of VHD, did another hunter get him or what. But he was a great buck. As you'll see some of these trail photos through the stealth cam of this deer walking in and out. Great buck. So then I just decided to go ahead and go to Kansas. We've got a big deer located in Kansas. I sent Travis a bunch of cameras, stealth cams here a while back. We devised a plan on a few farms and he started lacing them out. And actually I got permission off of a private landowner, and Travis helped me get that. And so it's not a lease that Travis has or anything. It's just a farmer friend that Travis has that he's going to let us hunt a little bit. And we got a really big deer there. We made some moves. I got there. I did some scouting. I hung another Novix for this deer. We had some stealth cams running. We had gotten a few pictures of the deer at night, and just decided why not give it a shot. So I was using a creek bottom to access into where I'd put this stand, kind of in this intersection of trees across the creek, and we kind of felt the deer was bedded to the north. Long story short, I hunted again 2 days. I only had another day to hunt. I hunted 2.5 days, and I just did not encounter this deer. I saw a lot of other deer, a lot of does. I was hunting even mornings, even, it's getting in there way early in the dark, and I was hunting really hard, truthfully, for this time of year. But I was really trying to make something happen, and I just didn't see this deer. And I'm like, I know I'm not boogering him. Wouldn't you know it, I'm in my truck headed back home, and by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock that evening, I checked my cell cams as I'm driving, and sure enough, That typical had walked, literally, you can see him in the background of the stealth cam. He's standing underneath the tree I was in. Pure daylight, would have been a chip shot, and I just got impatient. I decided to have Oliver come out, and we were going to go to Missouri and hunt a place that I had permission to hunt. I'd never hunted this place before, so Oliver came out, and we were going to hunt together. And I had put a stealth cam in this bedding area over a black widow mock scrape and on a good trail that just kind of went through this doe bedding area. And I'd got this mature 8-point a couple different times and a couple other bucks. And I thought, well, you know, maybe we could catch this deer on this alfalfa, because there was an alfalfa field below this sanctuary. And me and Ollie had hung a Novix in a pin oak tree line here. And I thought this could be a good spot to just monitor deer, see what they're doing. There's a lot of scrapes on this tree line, and maybe we can get this deer close enough to us.
We're in a separation. There's a pin oak tree line here that separates two pieces of alfalfa. I just hung these Novix here. Perfect spot, should be good and covered. Big old scrape right here. I put some black widow in it when I hung this stand earlier, so hopefully maybe we'll get a big old mature buck that wants to come work that scrape, or just moving does around in this field or feeding whatever, and I get a shot at one.
This buck comes out of the bedding area after a bunch of does had already filtered out and started feeding. And this big boy comes out into the field. He's a big, mature husky buck. He's pushing some does around. He just kind of gets towards the middle of the alfalfa. And throw him a grunt with the extinguisher, thinking maybe he's going to, you know, react, because I'm over these scrapes, thinking, well, maybe he'll come check out and he just can't see this buck on the other side. And all of a sudden the deer just kind of booger, and they head back up into the sanctuary. And then my neighbor, his daughter, is checking cattle on a horse, and she was just out there having a good time, and she had a pillbox on the side of her saddle playing her country music, and she was checking cattle, but she was really getting it, running through there and just having a good time on her horse, being a teenager. Well, it just was enough to bugger those deer out of the field, but no big deal, because in all honesty, I'd rather see that young girl doing something like that than sitting in front of a TV. So it just was what it was. And that big buck, he ran back up into that sanctuary. I told Ollie, I said, well, let's just sit here for a while. Maybe he'll come back out. And sure enough, he did. But it just got too dark. He never made it to us that night, but it was a great encounter. And we went back to the place we were staying. It's like, you know, let's regroup, try to figure out what we're going to do tomorrow. So the next day, it got super hot, like up into the upper 80s. It was windy, warm. It just wasn't good weather. And I hadn't spent a lot of time on this farm. So I was like, you know, I told Ollie, I said, let's go dive into the timber. Let's do some scouting. Let's make the best of our trip here. We'll go scout into an area that this deer we're trying to kill isn't even in. Maybe we'll find some other sign or some, you know, another buck to hunt. Let's go put some stealth cams up. Let's see where the deer are scraping, where they're running. Basically just doing homework. You know, scouting in season sometimes can be your best friend. And especially on a new place that you've never hunted, it can be one of the best things you can do is arm yourself with the most recent information.
Taking advantage of the super heavy wind. I'm not even sure we're going to hunt this evening, but we're going to walk this creek bed to a big creek crossing that I know about, hang a camera, maybe put some steps in a tree there, and then go up on this oak ridge and look around a little bit, maybe get a set kind of established for stuff like that. Just kind of have some things ready for if things do really start rocking here in a few days when the weather's supposed to switch again. So just trying to not sit idle. First year we've ever hunted this place, so I got to learn it, and I'm just, you know, I can't sit around, so this is what I'm doing.
I just found what I'm looking for.
dropped off the ridge about 3/4 of the way, and I found this trail right here. And this is what I'm looking for. A lot of times these bigger bucks will stay below the actual ridge. Everybody thinks they want to be up on the flat top ridge. My experience has been they're typically just over it. So I found this trail right here. I'm gonna monitor it with a stealth cam here quick, and we'll just see what's using these trails. I think what I'm gonna do is actually back down just a little bit and shoot the trail this way, because I wanna maybe get also behind it. But I also don't want the camera right on the trail, right in their face, to where they're like, you know, I don't want to booger a big deer. Going to Missouri myself, because all these bucks were moving through the sanctuary. I hung a Novix earlier in the year in a perfect hackberry tree that was right at the intersection of a couple trails, a great pinch point where a ditch had come up and kind of made a funnel in a sense, and I'd had a black widow mock scrape right there. It was the perfect scenario. I'm like, I'm going to sit there from daylight till dark. But I honestly had that gut feeling I would kill early in the morning. It's November 5th today. Yes, I think it is. Yep, November 5th. I'm in Missouri. And I'm in the middle of a bedding area right here. It's just a good spot where, you know, a lot of bucks come up in here and cruise around and check out, looking for does. And I'm kind of on the downwind side of 90% of the bedding area, so I'm hoping to catch one cruising in through here that I can either grunt to, rattle, whatever. I've got sprayed some black widow out here a little bit. Even laid a trail coming in case one comes in down below me. But I need to get settled, sit. I got everything set up. I'm filming myself. And, it's a great spot. There's been some bucks cruising through here. I got a stealth cam right over here on this trail that kind of just to tell me when things are heating up in here, because typically it's mostly does in here. Then all of a sudden, the last 2 days, 3 days, the bucks are starting to cycle through here. So I need to be sitting here. So I only got the wind for basically today. That's it. So I gotta make the most of it. It's like that perfect November 5th morning of just feeling like fall and November and the rut. And the woods was just coming alive. And I had deer all around me. And all of a sudden I heard a big grunt out in front of me, and there was a buck chasing does out in front. And instantly I knew it was one of the 10-pointers that I'd had on camera in there all last week. And I'm like, you know, I got to get this deer in front of me. And he was really moving this group of does around quite a bit. And I'm like, you know, I've got this extinguisher right here. I'm going to grunt, because sometimes what happens when you have a group of does that, you know, they're being harassed by one buck, does are smart enough to understand that when another buck gets a competition, his attention gets distracted from them. And so I grunted a couple times, not necessarily thinking this buck is going to come running to the grunt, but I was trying to call those does to me. See if I can't get this doe to walk this way. They're coming right now. So I grunted and doe bleated a few times, and sure enough, those does turned and walked right over towards me and just started milling around. And this buck was standing out there, and he just didn't want to commit at first. It took a long time, and I'm self-filming. this doe is standing here. He cannot see the buck that made the noises because, you know, obviously it was me. And then another little buck had started to come around, and he started to advance his way in after this doe. And I was able to come to full draw with the prime and make a great shot on this buck. Yeah, baby. City in here this morning. Holy cow. Wow, these are the days. Just like crazy does you live for these days, man. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Set this stand back in August or September. I think it was August. I was out here, and man, it's just a killer spot. I mean, a killer spot. It's right up on this knob. And it kind of falls off into cedars and then down to alfalfa, down into a nice bottom down in here. Just awesome, man. It feels so good to finally get it done. I mean, it has been a grind for me this year. I mean, it's just been tough. So that is by far not the biggest deer I've ever shot in my life, but I do not care. It's an exciting deer for me. It's a nice, mature Missouri buck. Definitely, he's been roaming this farm quite a bit, so I knew he was one of the more dominant mature deer. Just a big 9-point, and I'm tickled to death. I'm just a great buck, a great shot. Died right there. I mean, he might have just made it over that bank. I can't see him, but I mean, the blood was instant the second I hit him with that mega meat. It went in, hit the offside shoulder. That's why it didn't disappear, because it hit that other shoulder and just exploded his heart and lungs. It's my guess. So we'll see. But he's down, so I'm gonna take the old prime. Painted arrow mount came through again. I also got it on this camera, sitting in the Novix. Just very thankful to all my sponsors. And I always say there's nothing like lowering your bow after some victory.
it off. Instant blood right where I shot him. I saw the blood. I saw the blood come right out of him as soon as I hit him. And look at this stands right there. Look at this blood already right here. Good old bubbly. That's the color you want. We saw him going down. That's what mega meats do, brother. I'm telling you. People want to argue with me. Mega meats are just unbelievable broadheads, in my opinion. Yeah, it always helps if you hit them right. But I think even if on a marginal hit, I want a mega meat on my broadhead or on my arrow. Oh, he's right there. Heck yeah. Good job. Beautiful buck. Yeah. Love it. Love it, love it. So sitting here with this beautiful buck in Missouri. What a nice deer. Not a giant, just a great bow buck. Definitely Pope and Young. I'm tickled to death. First Missouri buck in a long time. Hung this stand in a bedding area and it was just on fire this morning. It was great. November 5th, can't beat it. Prime did its job. The mega meats did their job. My mossy oak and muddy clothes. These deer were right underneath me. I had a bunch of deer come in afterwards. Even none of them have ever saw me. I laid a trail with Black Widow on the way in. I had bucks come in on that trail after I shot this deer. I got it on video. Just awesome. Just an awesome morning. I thank God and just feel really blessed to finally get it done. Just awesome, man.
Thanks for watching. Next week, you're going to watch Tory Miller chase a really big buck in November on his property in Illinois.
Next week on Whitetail Edge.